Our mission is to reach the world with a message of hope by creating jewelry and gifts of exceptional quality, which will inspire people to express and share their faith. The following video shows the process of creating a quality costume pendant. Each design starts with a concept sketch. The sketch is then converted to a digital file with exact measurements. A wax carver then sculpts an original based on the specifications from the digital file. The carver begins to form the pendant by adding wax with a hot tool and subtracting wax with a file. The wax is inspected and completed. Casting can now begin. The pendant is mounted on a wax base, and a metal cylinder is placed over the wax. Plaster is mixed to make the investment. The plaster is then poured into a cylinder, and once hard, the base is removed. The metal cylinder is placed in a kiln at room temperature. The kiln heats up to 1,350 degrees Fahrenheit. The wax melts away, leaving a cavity in the shape of the cross, which is why this process is known as lost wax casting. The cylinder goes into the machine, and sterling silver casting grain is carefully poured in. The machine melts the sterling silver grain and injects it into the cavity. After the flask has cooled, it is quenched in water. The plaster disintegrates, leaving a silver casting behind. The sprue is then clipped and removed. The cross is then prepared for mold making. The polishing wheel removes any imperfections and rough areas, creating a smooth surface. The handmade original is now complete. From the original, a rubber mold is created, and channels are cut out to allow metal to flow into the cross-shaped cavity. The mold is then prepared for spin casting. The mold is placed into the machine and begins spinning at 1,000 RPMs. Molten lead-free pewter is poured into the mold, and centrifugal force fills the cavity with metal. Once cooled, the crosses are removed from the mold. Multiple crosses can fill a single mold, creating production castings. The individual crosses are separated and sent to be polished. A vibrating tumbler contains small stones that polish the pewter pieces. The pendant is now ready for epoxy. Epoxy color is carefully applied by hand using a syringe and air pressure. Once filled, the epoxy is then hardened in an oven at 150 to 200 degrees for 30 minutes. The chain is then attached, and the pendant is packaged in our signature blue box. Each piece is then inspected by hand to make sure that it meets our rigorous quality standards. This one pendant went through nearly 100 steps from concept to completion to create a reproduction of a handmade original design.